Hello, my MASWHA friends and followers and family. Although I don't think my family's going to want to see this video because they already know everything. I know you guys all know I'm not in Maui no more. I'm on the mainland. I moved to Vegas. And now I just happen to be sitting down on the Colorado River, as you can see. And that's Colorado. Yeah, that's Colorado over there. No, that's Arizona over there. And I'm in California. I'm on the California side of the river, right down below Lake Havasu. I'll be down here probably for till April 1st. Then I go back up to Vegas. It's only 3 hours up to Vegas. Stay there for the summertime or part of the summer. Then I go up to Washington, spend the other half of the summer, and make my rounds and come back down here on November 1st. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I still get a lot of emails from people asking me, well, so you lived in Maui, what's it cost to move over there? Or how much it cost to live over there? How do you get a car over there? Is there much to it? Getting paid? A bunch of questions. So I thought, I've got a couple movies on that already, but apparently they didn't watch them. Shame on them. So I'm going to make a new movie right now, or a video, and answer most of the main questions I get. If you have any other questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you. I do get back to you because every time somebody leaves a comment, I get an email, and I watch my email all the time. So I will get back to you if you want to know something specific. We'll start out by moving over there. Now, remember, this is mostly, in fact, this is only anybody along the West Coast or inland just a little bit. If you're coming from Montana, Missouri, coming from Dakotas, it's going to cost you add a lot more because you got to get all your stuff down to the West Coast. Because unfortunately, the big cargo ships that MASWHA has, they don't come to Montana, they don't come to Wisconsin, they don't come to Dakota. So, obviously. So this is mostly people, because when I moved the first few times, it was from Seattle area. Now, the last move I made was Maui to Vegas. And Vegas is a few hundred miles inland. That was my most expensive move. And that was about $4,200 total. Sometimes, I think when I moved to Seattle, it was like $3,600, $3,700. It all depends on how far that truck driver has to go to pick up your shit. So, this is mostly all along from Seattle all the way down to San Diego. I'd only go with MASWHA. The reason I say that, there's other companies, not a lot, but there's one called Hawaiian something or Halaya, or I forget what they're called. They do ship your stuff. But I heard they're a little more expensive and they take like 2 months plus to get your stuff. So I've always gone with MASWHA, and I'm not kidding you, I've talked to MASWHA 50 times on the phone. They are the nicest people I've ever talked to. I got family members that don't even talk to me that nice. I mean, they're just like talking to your family. It's just great. If you don't believe me, call them. Just ask them some prices, and they're just really wonderful. So the main thing is, you call MASWHA. The only thing is, I don't know if you have to. You have to have an address over there before you move over there. So don't think you're going to ship all your stuff over there, then meet it over there and go, okay, now let's go look for a place. Rule of thumb is, in this order, this is what my wife and I did when I was married the first time. We spent, I think, took 4 days, maybe 5, and went to Maui. Of course, it cost us, $1,500 to go over there and back, but, for food and a hotel and plane fares. But we went over there, found a place, came back. Okay, now I have an address over there. Because I think you need an address, and I don't care who you ship with. They're going to want an address, because nobody's going to store your stuff for you. Then, once you get an address over there, and get something nailed down where you're going to live, and we'll get into all the living expenses and all that stuff later, but so once you get an address, you call MASWHA and say, okay, I'm moving from point A to point B. Here's my address on the mainland. Here's my address in Hawaii. And I want to move this date, whatever. And I always get a 20-foot container. You can get a 40-foot container, but of course they're more money. And they're not twice as much, but they are more money. And I think they're only like $800 more. But you're going to pay a lot more for the trucker to take it, I think. So I've always got a 20-footer, and you can get a 2 or 3 bedroom house in a 20. I mean, you can't believe what you can get into a 20-foot container because they're full 8 foot by 8 foot by 20. Now you can probably heard a pod. I don't like pod at all. I checked on them a few times, and they're only like 6 feet something inches by 7 feet by 8 feet. So you're going to need, 3 of them almost to equal your 20-foot container. And I think each pod, which is only 8 feet, I think they're like $3,200 or $3,600 to ship over there. So if you had to get 3 of them, you're talking $9,000 or more. So I don't recommend that at all. There's another company, I forget what they're called, Hawaii something, or starts with an H, I can't remember. I checked into them, I remember. But their prices weren't a whole lot different, but it took them 2 to 3 months to get your stuff over there. I don't know why. I don't know where they sit for so long, but it was ridiculous. And I've talked to a few people that used them and said, yeah, they're fine, but we didn't get our furniture for 2 months. So anyway, MASWHA. You won't meet a nicer company to deal with. And they're just as cheap. I had a buddy of mine work for Snap-on, and he said everything Snap-on owned or orders, and they order a lot of stuff from China and all over the world. They always get it from their order through MASWHA. So that's who turned me on to MASWHA. So you want to get a place over there. You want to call MASWHA up, and the West Coast, I think the boat leaves once a week, and I think it only takes like 10 days to get over there. So it's not very long to get over there. So once you get over there and get, I think the first time we went, I arranged it. They picked it up. Of course, when they pick it up, now you don't got any shit in your house. I mean, unless you want to go stay in a motel, so you don't have nothing. So I think I made arrangements to fly out the next day, and then I got to Hawaii. So I had to wait 8 or 9, 10 days before I got my stuff, which was no problem. You're in Hawaii. I rented a car because my car hadn't got there. We'll talk about that later, the cars. But I had to rent a car, and I only rented a car for like 3 days because we were right on the beach. I mean, we were pretty close to the beach. And so I spent the first 3 days going to Walmart, getting some blankets. I think I bought a blow-up bed, and I bought a couple lawn chairs. And we did buy a TV because I was going to buy a TV anyway. And what else did I buy? A coffee pot, some paper plates, some stuff like that to get me by for those 10 days or 8 days or wherever it was. And then after we got done running around doing all that stuff, we took the rental car back because all we did is hang out at the beach all the time and walk around Kihei. I moved to Kihei over on Maui, and so it was kind of like a mini vacation. Then all of our stuff came. So that's what you want to do. Get a place, send your stuff over, go over there. And is that about it? Yeah, insurance. My insurance I had at the time for my home told me they would cover my stuff till I got there. So that was pretty nice. You might want to talk to your insurance agent, although I don't think the boats sink over on the way over there all the time. But if you're worried about insuring all your stuff because it's everything you own, is call your insurance company, and you might have to add a little renter's policy or a little, just cost you $20 or whatever it is to get it over there. So that's no problem. Other than that, you can pack about anything you want in the container because they let you put a big padlock on it and lock it because they don't go through it. They don't have bomb drug sniffing dogs to go around it because it's going from state to state. It's not going internationally. It's going from state to state. So they don't check them. So you can pack about anything you want in there. A lot of people say, well, can I put a car in there? Well, you can get a 40-footer and drive a car in there, but how are you going to get the car in there? You got to make ramps and all that stuff because you don't have access to drive the trailer around, back it up to something. So that's a hassle. And then we'll get into the car thing. It's easier not to do that. So just get a container. If you have a big house and you're going to get a big place over there, 40-footer. Like I said, I've only checked on the 40-footer once, and I think it was only like $800 more for the container. But that's as far as I went. I never went any further to find out how much more it costs for the truck driver to bring it. It might not be that much more since it might a little bit on fuel. I don't know. That's something you'd have to ask MASWHA about. But you have the choice to get in a 20 or 40-footer. But every time I've gone, and we've shipped a lot of stuff, it all fits pretty good in a 20-footer. Oh, here's a little tip. If you're going to get boxes to pack your stuff in, get all your boxes. I usually get boxes, that big by that high, I always get boxes all the same size because they pack so easy. I pack them all the way up front and I just pack them up along the side of the wall and put another layer and how many boxes you want. If you need some bigger boxes, you can hold them off to the last and put them in the very back or along one wall or something. But yeah, if you get the same size boxes, it works out really, really good. And buy the heavy duty boxes. I think I bought them at Home Depot. It was either, yeah, I think it was Home Depot. Because you can buy the regular thin boxes or you can buy the heavy duty ones, and they're only a couple dollars more, and they are heavy duty and they don't break. In fact, I've used those to mail stuff too. So anyway, if you have anything really important that you cannot, well, it doesn't matter. As I say, you can mail it. You know, mail a big box. It's only about $50, $70 to mail a pretty good sized box over there. But you're gonna trust the boat. You're gonna trust the plane. Anything really personal like jewelry and stuff, you can just take it on the plane with you on your carry-on and pack it on. So, it's called all common sense. So that's pretty much covers on the moving your stuff over there. Okie dokie. So that covers what your container. Okay, now let's talk about the automobile. Shipping your automobile, like I said, it's about $1,025, I think, to ship it from the West Coast, and you have to take it down to the port. They don't come and get it at your house. You have to take it down at the port. There's one in Seattle I always use. I know there's one in California, and then you leave it them. I know the boats only leave about every 2 weeks, so it takes a little longer for your car to get there. So you got to plan that out, or rent a car once you get over to Hawaii. You can't have anything in your car. You can't pack your car full of stuff. You can't have anything in there that doesn't come with the car when you bought the car. No cracks in the windshield, and the car has to be clean. They don't want you bringing crap off a four-wheel drive or something out in the desert or out in the bushes onto their boat and over to Hawaii. So it has to be clean, nothing in the car, and make sure once you get over, when you ship it from the mainland and ship it over there, you don't really need anything. You have to show them your registration and stuff, and and your ID, and then pay for it, of course. And then but remember, when you get over there and you pick up your car, save all the paperwork that the Matson is going to give you. Because when you go register your car, and you only have 30 days to do it, when you go register your car in Hawaii, you have to have that paperwork. If you don't have that paperwork, they won't let you register your car. So make sure you have the paperwork. And if you're shipping your car back from Hawaii to the mainland, for some reason, if you don't own your car outright, let's say a bank owns it or you're making payments on it, you have to get permission from the lending company to ship your car off the island. Even if your lending company's not on the island, if your lending company's over on the mainland, you still have to have that piece of paper, a letter saying they give you permission to ship your car. It's kind of weird, but you have to do it coming back. You don't have to do it going over, but coming back, leaving the island, you do. So, like I said, the cost coming back is only it's cheaper. It's only like $850 or $870. I can't remember, but it's a little more expensive to ship it over there than to ship it back. So that's weird. I know. I don't know why. I've done it many a times, but like I said, it can take up to 17 to 20 days by the time you drop your car off before you get to pick it up again. So I always plan on getting over there and renting a car or something. So anyway, that's pretty much on the car, and the price ranges from a regular car, pickup, van. If you have a longer car like a bus or a SUV or something like that, it's going to be more. But the prices I gave you are just your standard car, what you'd send over there. Anything from a little smart car all the way up to a full-size pickup. So. But like I said, you can't. A lot of people think I've hidden stuff in mine. I've kind of packed a few things in it. So, in fact, instead of having a hassle of getting my guns over there, should I say this on video? I packed some of my handguns in my car when I shipped them over there, and just hit them really good, and that worked pretty good. So, other than that, that's about what it takes to ship a car over there. I'm 100 miles from anywhere, and I get stopped at a train crossing. How could I time that any better? Anyway, since I'm in the car, we'll talk about
a little more about the what it takes to get your car over there. I know I told you to use Matson. Don't put it in a container, just ship it. Costs about under $1,100 from the West Coast to Maui. Now from Maui back to the West Coast is only like $870. I don't know why it's cheaper, but it is. Maybe it's because they don't use as much fuel. Maybe it's going downhill. I don't know. But the thing is, when you get over there, you only have like legally 30 days to register your car. I'm sure some people go over. I've seen them over there longer, but if you want to do it legally and don't get a ticket and cause any problems, yeah. So you got 30 days. So what you do is you have to get a safety inspection done on your car, and you got to do that every year when you live there. It's kind of like our smog we used to have over here, or emissions test and stuff, but it's just a safety test. They just want to make sure your blinkers work, your headlights work, your windshield isn't cracked, your tires are good. That's all it is. But in order to get your safety check, you have to have car insurance. And you can't have car insurance left over from the mainland. You have to get car insurance over there in Hawaii. That's how they do it. So you have to show that you have insurance before you get your safety check. And before you get your safety check, before you get your car registered, you have to have a safety check. So that's the order you want to do it in. Get your car over there, get your car insurance, get your safety check, and then go to the DMV and get your car registered. And that's about all you need. You need your title or your registration and all that. Just like anywhere else. Now, if you want to get a driver's license over there, you can. You don't have to, though. Like most states, you have to, if you're going to live there, you have to have a driver's license in that state. You don't have to in Hawaii. And I never did at first because they wanted you to take a complete test. Well, shit, I already passed my test 50 years ago. I wasn't going to try that again. Not saying I'm a bad driver, but although I am filming while I'm driving, so what's that tell you? But you don't have to. And if you don't get your driver's license, if you just choose to keep your driver's license you have, I would recommend get a state ID. Because with a driver's license or a state ID, you get kamahina rates, which is you get discounts for everything except for groceries. But when you go to restaurants or you buy things and hotels and stuff, you get discount if you have state ID. In order to get the state ID, you have to, it's kind of tricky. If you have a passport, it works really good. And you have to prove that you live there. So renter's agreement, electricity bill, something like that. Although electricity bill and stuff takes a while to get, you have to be there at least a month. But I use my renter's agreement, I think. But if you don't have a birth certificate, you're going to have to show them if you don't have a passport, you're going to have to show them a birth certificate, Social Security, and all that. So it's easier to have a passport, but you can do it. Anyway, that's about what it takes to get a car over there. I don't know did I already say that if you take a car over there, you don't really need any paperwork except for your registration. Now, if you're going to ship your car from Hawaii back to the mainland and you owe money on that car, like you have a lender, you have to get permission from the lender and a letter showing Hawaii. You got to show them at the Matson or anybody you go through. You have to show them that you have permission to remove your car off the island. I think it's kind of stupid because my lender, when I had my Jeep over there, my lender was in Vegas, but I had to get permission to bring it back to Vegas. So it's kind of stupid, but that's the way they work. Going over there, you don't need the permission. Coming back, you do. So, and like I said, don't put your car in a container. Just ship it. It's too hard to get them in and out of the container, and you don't save no money. So just ship it over there. But it takes about a good 20 days before you get your car, so remember that. So I usually ship my car, then I get on a plane and go over there and I rent a car for a few days to get groceries or anything else I need, and it's all timing, so it's not that bad. Hell, you're in Hawaii. Come on, how bad could it be? So anyway, that's about what it is on your car. Well, nothing like being out in the middle of the desert. I tell you that. Nothing like Hawaii, but
It has its own character. Anyway, so now you know about the car insurance, registration. Now let's talk about housing. You can either buy a house or rent a house. You can buy a condo or rent a condo, or rent an apartment. Although there's not a lot of apartment buildings over in Maui. I think there's only not a whole bunch of them, especially over on the other side. I like Kihei. I like that side of the island. I like the beaches over there. I like the entertainment over there. I just like Kihei a lot. It's a lot warmer and nicer over there. Than you don't get as much rain than the northern side of the island. Apartments. When we first moved there, 2011, 12, 13, I don't know, somewhere back then, 7, 8 years ago. It was, the apartment we rented wasn't all that, just a small two bedroom, 720 square feet. No washer, no dryer, no pool at the apartment complex. They weren't junk, but they weren't nice either. And I think we paid right around $1,200, which was kind of expensive because we were used to in Washington. I think apartments were like $800, $900, so they were a couple $100 more. But just like everything else, everything's gone up, and Hawaii's really gone up. That same apartment right now is $2,400 to $2,700 a month. Houses, I rented a house over there for $21. That same house now is $32. So if anybody wants to know how much it costs to rent a place over there, I don't know if it's going to be one of you, two of you, three of you. I mean, if it's only one of you and you don't care about renting somebody's bedroom, in their house, and share their bathroom and kitchen, that's one thing. That's $800, $900, $1,100. But if you want your own place, you and your wife, you and your partner, have a kid, would not get, figure on pretty much an average, at least $2,500 to $3,500 for a 2-bedroom. If you want to start getting a little bit bigger, a little nicer, go to $4,500. But that's about what you're going to pay. So let me tie in with houses with other questions I get on electricity. Yes, electricity is ridiculous over there. It's just for the simple fact they don't have any dams. They got some wind power, and they got some solar, but most of it's all ran on the big diesel generators they have at the power plants. And they have to bring that diesel over there from the mainland, so it's expensive. I mean, really expensive. So figure I'm paying high housing and high utilities. Now, I've never had to pay water, but I'm not sure. They should have enough water over there. Hell, it rains like every goddamn day, at least somewhere on the island. But I know your electricity and your renter's insurance. I mean, your rent, or your mortgage. And the thing is, people say, well, I'll buy a condo, Well, yeah, you get a halfway decent condo for about $800,000. You can get some cheaper than that for $600,000. They're kind of run down. But what kills you on that, after you're making that high payment on that condo, unless you have a lot of money again, if you have a lot of money, turn this video off. You don't need it. But if you're trying to ask how much it costs, then you probably don't have a lot of money. Because your HOAs over there, your homeowner associations, will just kill you. I've heard some of them are up to $1,700 a month just for your homeowners association. That ain't counting your payment, that ain't counting your rent, that ain't counting your mortgage payment, none of that. So it's not real cheap. And beware if you go on to Craigslist. And I did this last time before I went over. First time we went over, my wife and I went over there, and we spent 4 days over there, found a place, got a bank account, put the money down, blah, 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 came back, and we had a place. Second time I went over there, since I already had ID, because you should have ID, and I already had a bank account, I did it over the phone. But this time I just looked on Craigslist, and I was going to stay with my buddy Matt over there until I found a place. But oh my God, the majority, not every single one, but the majority of the ads on Craigslist are phony. And what they do is they have you come over, meet them somewhere, and they ask for, before you even look at the place, they want a deposit. Or they'll tell you can drive by the place, but nobody's there. That's so, because it's not their place. And then you give them a $60 deposit. Not deposit, it's to check your credit. $60. Well, they do this for 20 people. They get all kinds of money. Then they just call you up and say, your credit wasn't all that bad, but we found somebody else we just thought was a little bit better. Biggest scam they got going over there. So don't rely on Craigslist. Apartment buildings, at least you can call them up. I know there's Piilani Gardens. They're the ones I stayed in, but they don't have any washer and dryer. I like a washer and dryer. They have washer and dryer facilities. And then there's Oh, there's one down in Kihei. Kihei Royal, I can't remember. Look them up. But they're still $2,200, $2,300, $2,400 for in fact, I think the one I was getting before was a 1-bedroom. No, it was a 2-bedroom. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and I think it's 24 or 25 right now. So, like I said, if you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter. I'm on a fixed income. I just got to watch it. So, but that's about housing and stuff over there. So, it is expensive. Okie dokie. That kind of covers, let's see, housing, cars, insurance, all that crap. Stuff you got to do though. So now let's talk a little bit about food prices. Again, expensive, in my opinion. A lot of people say, oh, it's not bad, I was over there for 2 weeks. Well, anytime you go on vacation for a couple of weeks, you're expected to pay a lot of money anyway, but do it all the time. So I did a lot of my shopping at Safeway. I did some of it at Walmart, which is a mess. Some of it at Costco, because they have a Costco there, but I just didn't do a lot. I'm not a big Costco shopper anyway, just for the simple fact that it's a madhouse over on Maui, especially to get there. They only got one, and it's crowded all the time. But from my experience, in a nutshell, grocery food was just about twice as much as it here on the mainland, depending where you live though. But yes, it's very expensive. Eggs, I just sent a picture of eggs I bought here at Walmart. I paid jumbo eggs a dozen. I paid 78 cents at Walmart. Sent it to my buddy Matt. Remember Matt over there? Send to him. He said he pays $6 to $7 a dozen for eggs. Cheese, anything dairy, milk, cottage cheese, yogurt, any of that dairy stuff is really expensive over there. Milk's not $10 a gallon though, like everybody says it is. It's probably right around $5 to $6 a gallon. The cereal I like, I was paying $3.84 for a box of cereal over here. That same cereal over there was like $7 or $8. Canned food's more expensive. Meat, I was buying jumbo prawns. They weren't big. They're about that big of prawns. You know, the ones that are red, they're already cooked. $40 a pound over there. Ridiculous. They're right around $16 a pound over here. Ribeye steak, a lot of it's $20 a pound, $24. It's just ridiculous what they charge for food. And Safeway is probably the worst. Even vegetables and especially local stuff. I couldn't believe how expensive local stuff, pineapple, papaya, mangoes. They just rip you off. And they're not shipping those over there, so I don't understand why they're so damn expensive. But food is really expensive. Eating out isn't a whole lot different than here. Drinking, booze, like beer and wine, about the same over there as it is over here. Alcohol, hard alcohol, pretty cheap over there. You go out and really, if you're going to go over there, a lot of people take advantage of their happy hours. Happy hours are great. You get poo-poos, which are starters, for half price, so they're usually about $16, so you get them for like $8, and a couple drinks for $4 or $5 a piece. So, and you know, you can have a pretty good dinner. It's just that it gets so ridiculous on the food over there, and that's one thing I didn't like about the prices over there, the food. So, but you're in Hawaii. So anyway, I think that covers most of the food. Like I said, in and out, I mean, expensive. All right.
So, we've covered probably some of your major things. Of course, moving there, the expenses, car, that's a major thing, and food expenses and home expenses or living expenses. Now I'm going to wrap up this thing because I don't want this thing to be like too long or a 5 series or anything. I'll cover the other little things around everything you're going to be when you're over there. There is an income tax in that state, and I'm not sure exactly what it was. It's 7.2 or something. You have to pay an income tax.
I lucked out. I got around it. I worked at Boeing for 40 years, and our pension that I get from Boeing is I don't have to pay an income tax in Hawaii on it. It's a long deal. It's something about, since I didn't participate in my retirement, that the Boeing just gives it to you, and I never put any of my money into it. I don't have to pay tax on it, state tax. I'm sure if you have a 401k you're working on or something like that, and you're drawing off that, you're going to have to pay income tax. If you work over there, you're going to have to pay income tax. So, but luckily I got around it. And the amount of work I did over there when I was working for the concert scene, it wasn't that a whole bunch. So I usually got money back. So that wasn't too bad. Another thing people ask me a lot is pets. You can take pets over there. It's expensive. They've never had a case of rabies, I hear, on the island. So if you want to take a dog over there, I suggest you, about a year, when you're planning your move over there, start going to the vet on the mainland and get all your shots, everything done that you have to do, and tell them that you're moving to Hawaii, and they'll know what to do. Because if you just say, well, next month, let's move to Hawaii, this is fun, so we move to Hawaii, then your dog, I hear, can be up into quarantine over there up to 120 days, and you have to pay for it yourself. I heard, like I said, I don't have any pets, so I don't know. I've heard that the whole procedure could cost you about $3,000 a dog. So it's a little expensive to take your dogs over there. If you don't have a dog and you want to get one over there, it's pretty easy. They got a pound. In fact, they got a neat little thing over there. You can go to the pound and you can check a dog out, like a library book, and take it out for walks all day long, bring it back and go, yeah, okay, that one was kind of cool, or nah, we didn't get along, and then you can pick a dog that way. It's kind of neat. But cats, I don't know what it takes. I'm sure there's a long procedure on cats too, but because there's a billion cats on the island. So if you're looking for a cat, just go. I caught a wild one and I tamed it down and had him for a pet. I think maybe you've seen some of my videos on that. But anyway, but you can take a pet. You can't have anything exotic. You can't have lizards that aren't on the island. You can't have snakes. There's no snakes in Hawaii at all. You can't take tarantula. Any weird pets like I used to have. You can't do it. Although I did have a parrot. But I bought him over there, and I had him the whole time I was over there, so that was kind of cool. Another thing people ask me about is hospitals and doctors. And you hear a lot of horror stories. I don't know why. They have a saying, if you're in pain, get on a plane. But I was in the hospital once over there. My wife was in the hospital over there. I didn't see anything different over there than anywhere else I've ever been. The doctors over there, I had a family doctor, I had a cardiologist, I had a knee doctor. They're all about the same. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. My wife had some different doctors. I mean, it was fine. The hospital on Maui was a nice hospital. So I don't know what all the horror stories are, but I never experienced anything. I always had really good luck with my doctors and everything else. So that worked out pretty good. Another thing a lot of people ask me about is jobs. Well, their minimum wage isn't very good unless you're specialized in something. Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or you're specialized. I know a friend of mine went over there. He had to have a CDL license, and he drove garbage truck over there for a while. What else? Oh, some of the linemen over there. If you're a lineman, they hire a lot of linemen that they bring from the mainland over there for 6 month stays and stuff. So you can get jobs. They're just not as plentiful as jobs here on the mainland. And a lot of people. You got to remember one thing. When you go over there, if you're young, especially if you're young and single, especially if you're young and single male, people say, well, did you have any problem with the natives over there, the islanders, the Hawaiians giving you a bad time? I never did. But I can see where there's problems. If you're a guy and you're obviously you're not from Hawaii and you're coming over there, well, you got to remember, if you're young, you're competing for their work, you're competing for their women, you're competing for their surf areas, so there can be some conflicts there. I don't have to worry, I'm not a surfer. I'm not picking up their women. And I wasn't working. Although I did work. When I worked as you know, I worked for the concert scene. And I didn't have no problem. I worked with a lot of Hawaiians, but I got along with everybody. Whoops. What are you talking about there, computer? I got along with everybody. But I'd never had no problem, but I saw people that did, especially the younger people. The older people they they respect because it's a Asian culture, and they really respect their elders. They call us uncle and auntie, uncle and auntie. My wife at the time didn't like it. She didn't like being called auntie. She thought it made her sound old. They called me uncle. I didn't give a shit what they called me. I've been called a lot worse than that. So, but yeah, there's jobs. You just gotta. I wouldn't go over there with no money and expecting to find a job right away and get one. I mean, you can work at Walmart. They always got signs, Safeway and stuff like that. But it's just, remember, they're not as plentiful as they are in the mainland. Banks. A lot of people ask me about banks. You got to remember now, I might have covered this earlier, but there's no banks in Hawaii. I mean, excuse me, any bank that's on the mainland, like Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, Chase, they're not in Hawaii. Hawaii has their own banking system, so it's always Bank of Hawaii, First Hawaii Bank, stuff like that. So I recommend you, right when you get over there, get a bank account. You know how it's easy to get a bank account, so I recommend you get a bank account over there, because you won't be able to. The only problem was I was keeping my U.S. bank, which I did, but you couldn't make any deposits unless it was all electronically through your work. Anytime you use the ATM over there, they charged you. So it's just nicer to have your own bank over there. So Bank of Hawaii, I think, is the one I went with. So they were pretty good. So another thing people ask me about is eating out over there. Well, you know what? And I might have covered this a little bit, but restaurants over there aren't a whole lot different than over here. I mean, you can go out and get a meal for $12. You can get a meal for $40. You can get a meal for $70, depending where you go. Cocktails, about the same. It's not like they're completely, because booze over there is really cheap. When you go to the store and buy bottles of booze, it's no more expensive over there than it is over here. In fact, Washington State, you guys know what you pay for booze, so over there it's about half that price. But they have a happy hour. A lot of people take advantage of their happy hours. I used to bounce at a bar, and instead of paying me money to bounce, it was only like 2.5 hours a night. Instead of, they were going to pay me, I think, $50 a night. Or they were going to give me, I could do that, but they had to take taxes out and all that stuff. Or they were going to give me $75 on one of their gift cards. No tax taken out. They just kept adding up. Hell, I always had like $600, $800, $900 on my gift card for that restaurant. So I ate out there a lot. Every time somebody came over, we'd take him out there because, oh, big shot. Oh, no, I got it. I'll pay. It's all free. Well, it wasn't free, but basically it was. But a lot of people take advantage of their happy hours because they call them poo-poos, and we call them here starters. You know, when you look on a menu and see starters, they call them poo-poos over there. And you can get poo-poos for half price. So if you can see a $16, Hawaiian chicken wings or Hawaiian spare ribs or crab and artichoke dip with it, they're $16. We get them for $8. So you get a couple of those and a couple of drinks, and that's a pretty good sized dinner right there. I mean, so you can take advantage of that stuff. A lot of stuff over there, since food was so high, I don't know why going out for dinner wasn't that high, but I'd go out and eat instead of go to the grocery store. I know McDonald's and stuff like that, they're a little bit higher. Everything was about $1 or $1.50 more expensive over there. Like every time I go to McDonald's, I get those egg sausage biscuits for the morning. Well, hell, right up here in Searchlight on the way to Vegas, you get 2 of them for $4 and something cents. Usually they're about $3 and something cents. Over in Hawaii, they're like $6 for one. So some of that stuff's kind of expensive, but many times I've gone out to dinner. You look on the menu, it's $12. So eating out isn't that expensive. There's not I think Mexican restaurants. If you like Mexican food, Maui don't have a lot of Mexican restaurants. There's about 4 or 5 that I know of, and they're all either crap or just mediocre. Chinese restaurants, you think they'd be all over the place. It's an Asian culture. Honolulu, I think they're on every corner. Maui, there's not very many Chinese restaurants. There's Filipino food. There's a lot of Thai restaurants and a lot of teriyaki restaurants. But good old Chinese food, I couldn't find any. I mean, I know that I went to one up in Lahaina. I forget the name of it, but it was real authentic. Real authentic. In fact, it was almost too authentic for my wife when she didn't like it. But there's a lot of fancy restaurants, especially up in Lahaina and down in Grand Wailea and that area. But we went to what's that, Ruth Chris Steakhouse, but it was $175 for two of us. Tommy Bahama's, they're good, but they're expensive. But you know, they're expensive over here too, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, I think I've covered the majority of the bigger questions asked. If you have any other questions, go ahead, ask me. If I don't know it, I'll fake it. No, I'll tell you I don't know it. But I've had some pretty weird questions asked, so you can't ask anything I probably haven't heard before. So I'll get back to you too. I will. I'll get back to you. So anyway, leave a comment down below what you thought. If I got anything wrong that you've experienced, let me know. I'm the first one. I mean, I'll admit if I'm wrong. I'll tell you go to hell. No, I'll admit that I'm wrong. I'm not 100% right. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this, but I've done it a lot. So, all right. I hope that helped. And if you do move there, I'm jealous because I miss the place a lot. But I'm a mainlander for now. So, anyway, aloha and later.